Hi there, this is Tim with an Elite Dangerous video, and I'm continuing my exploration journey that was taken during April with days 7 and 8, and in this video I'm going to be on planet surfaces collecting materials for FSD injection. And you can see I'm starting off the video on the planet that I ended the last one, out past the Crab Nebula. And if you look over on the right hand side you can see my Anaconda taking off and leaving me behind. And here as I'm driving forwards you can see the land kind of fall away from me. Now, to continue my thoughts from the last video, I have a lot of respect for the SRV now. I did consider it to be almost just a screenshot vehicle. You know, I can land on a planet's surface, I can get in my SRV, I can drive it away from my ship, and then take a nice screenshot further away than the external camera currently allows me to. That was it. That's basically what I thought that the SRV was. I didn't see a lot of value in it, and it took me going towards the Crab Nebula to really learn the value of it. I couldn't jump directly to the Crab Nebula even though the stars were just out of reach. I basically had to go through a much longer route. I had to go pretty far to the right hand side looking from Sol, and then come into the Crab Nebula from the rear, and that's definitely not going to get me to the outer rim of the galaxy, is it? So, you know, with a lot of areas to cover where the stars are quite far apart. So, anyway, I stopped off at this planet here and gone through some collection of materials. I'm working towards getting my FSD boost. And as I make my way down this hill here, you can see it's a pretty rugged area in front of me. The slope itself is fairly smooth, but once I get down there things are going to get a lot more interesting, especially if I have to come back up any hills. Now, I did obviously lose the sunlight, and you can see it's pretty dark, and because I'm in shadow on the shaded side of this planet, you can see the galactic plane extremely clearly, extremely bright there, and you can see Barnard's Loop just over on the right hand side on the horizon, and I think that looks pretty cool in itself. And you can see on the scanner there is some different kinds of contacts. Now, the ones that are closer to the scanner itself, those are usually kind of natural forms, so those will be the kind of things that I actually need to pick up in order to do an FSD injection. Those are the normal materials, but the scanner object, which is kind of two lines on the left hand side currently, those are usually man-made objects. So being this far out, I had to explore that and find out what that was. So as I get closer here, you're going to see me try to get up almost a sheer rock face that was pretty challenging here. Now you can see another planet right up at the top of the screen. That's another planet that I will visit in this same video. But this rock face, if you look at the scanner, you can see how steep it actually is. This was very, very challenging to try to find the right routes to control the throttle, control thrusters, and obviously steering to try to not fall down this rock face too far. Really working hard here. Unfortunately bounced off the rock face a little bit there, sliding down, and managed to get myself stopped. Trying again here. This seems a little bit steeper though. If I can't get over this little bit of a hump, then I'm probably done for. And I'm flying now. Uh-oh. I lost 1% of my hull there. That was a bit of a heavy impact. And unfortunately the game does have a throttle bug where you have to throw it into reverse to be able to throw it into forward gear, and that's pretty annoying. You can see I'm actually having to reverse down here in order to throttle up. And there we go, now I've got throttle. Just looking for somewhere that's a slightly smaller incline. It's going well so far. And I really, really enjoyed this. I mean, there are simulators out there, driving simulators, where basically you drive a truck through muddy water, and you drive over rock formations and stuff like that. I mean, I really, really, really enjoyed this. It was challenging, and I even if I wasn't material collecting, I think I would have enjoyed this anyway. But it helps to have a goal on the scanner that you're actually heading towards, because otherwise what are you going to do? You say, well, when I get to the top of this hill, congratulations to me. Well, that doesn't really work. Having something to actually aim for on the scanner really helped me to have fun with this, because once I got to that point and didn't have to give up, then I felt like I'd kind of beaten that hill and beaten that terrain. Plus I really just wanted to see what the hell this was. I don't know if it's even really possible to emphasize kind of how steep this was and how much input I was having to put into the steering, how much I was, varying the throttle. And now I've closed into it here, you can see it's actually a data point. Now that could be something that's crashed, or it could be a beacon or something like that. But I'm being careful here because the rock face could fall away from me. And you see it does a little bit, but then there's a little bit of a flat area where it's actually a crashed beacon. It's a little bit far out from populated space to be realistic, which is why I think in the next update to Elite Dangerous they're actually going to stop these happening this far out. So I've selected and scanning. And now I have a data point that I can actually sell when I get back to populated space. Skipping forward a little bit. What I'm going to do is kind of feature new material collections. So I've collected manganese already, so there's no kind of notification for that. But here you'll see something that I've never collected before. And that's mercury. That's the 8th material that I've discovered. And some more new discoveries coming up. And that one was arsenic. That's number 9 for me. And vanadium is number 10. Arsenic, I think, is one of the materials used in FSD injection. So it's quite cool to find a planet that actually has it. Another new material, this is number 11 for me, and it is, maybe the B is silent, so molybdenum. Quick screenshot session there. And this is a metallic meteorite. If you keep looking at the scanner as well shortly before I shoot them, it'll show you what kind of signature they have. I love how the materials roll away down the hills. sometimes you have to chase them. Another new material, number 12, tellurium. And what's nice here is that I needed to refuel my SRV, so instead of messing around, I just did a refuel based on the things that I've picked up. So, you know, you can keep your SRV going a long time. Closing in on a signature here. It's all on the lower end. You can also repair your SRV with things that you pick up as well. This is a bit challenging. I don't want to go to the left hand side because I fear that I might not get back up this hill. So I'm going a little bit to the right of where I actually want to be. Okay, so I see the rock that I need to be heading towards, bronzite chronite, or is it chondrite? So I'm still going away from where I need to be because I need to get a shooting angle. You can see there's actually a flat area in front there. And we have nickel and zinc. And I'm probably going to have to chase them down the hill. No, it looks like they've found a flat area. And obviously that is material number 13 for me, that is zinc. Quite thankful to see a flat area. And that throttle bug again, making things difficult. Going up a fairly steep hill here. Some nice signatures on the scanner, single line signatures. Look at Barnard's Loop directly in front there. The galactic plane is still pretty bright, but because I'm in sunlight now, there is a fair amount of what I would describe as light pollution from the local star. It did actually seem to me that the majority of the materials that I actually needed to find were in more hazardous areas to drive. I found less things out on the plains of the planets, and I don't know if Frontier have perhaps inserted a variable to account for kind of weathering or volcanic activity in the past or anything like that, but it did seem that if you want to find something more interesting, you need to go to the areas where it's not as flat. So that would lead me to believe that there is a previous volcanic activity variable. So flat ground kind of has less things. That's definitely what it seemed like to me. Obviously this was a bit of a challenging drive, which is why I'm featuring it. And obviously at the end of this rainbow, you're kind of hoping that there will be something interesting. I can see something white on the scanner. And it is a rock type. very, very challenging because there's points here where I actually don't have full contact with the ground. You know, I'm literally kind of perched on maybe two wheels at times at kind of opposite ends of my vehicle. You can see this is quite challenging to get a shooting angle. I don't really have any experience switching to the turret yet. Okay. Looks like that was cadmium. And I'm probably going to have to chase these down the hill. And very carefully, obviously. I don't want to slide down past these objects and not be able to pick them up. And that is germanium. That's number 14 for me. And number 15 is the cadmium. And like I said, a lot of these new materials that I hadn't discovered before really did seem to be in these difficult to access areas. I just didn't find this many interesting things on the plains. I thought this was a really cool section, so I've left a lot of this in. And look at this. Craziness. I actually had to use the thrusters to put my wheels back on the ground there. Was a little bit worried I was going to slide down the hill there, so I gave it a little bit of thrust. Obviously there's a big hole to my left hand side that I do not want to slide into. As I think I've said, you know, it is very difficult to tell from the video just how much throttle adjustment, how much steering adjustment I'm actually doing. But rest assured, there was a lot of it. A lot. And obviously I'm having to read both the scanner map and the visuals that I can actually see to tell what to do with those things. More germanium. And obviously this is some that I'm having to chase down a little bit of a hill. Just kind of reading the hills ahead of me. Try not to make a bad decision. Got to be careful of large rocks too. They can really kind of push your vehicle off if you hit them. If you're going exploring, obviously there are areas closer to the core or closer to Sol where you can find materials, and these places are usually kind of written down. You know, there's certain planets where explorers know they can find certain things. So ideally, you would collect these materials and bring them with you. But like I've said, you need to have respect for the SRV for what it is, because it is your lifeline. You know, if you're going exploring anywhere except Sagittarius A, essentially, the stars are going to be far apart in places. And without FSD boost, you're going to have to do some pretty long routes to be able to find your way around. You're going to have to follow the arms of the galaxy out, and a good FSD boost allows you to bypass that need. I'm actually stuck there on the top of a peak. So I'm chasing a mound of tin down the side of this mountain here. Some chromium too. The chromium seems to be moving slower, so, or actually stopped, so picking that up first. That's a new material for me, number 16. Going for the nearest one first, chromium again. And number 17 is tin. Had to read the landscape there on the scanner and figure out what was actually the best way to go. It's always better to be higher. You can always try to control your descent. But sometimes it's very, very difficult to control your ascent. So I'm taking this mountain ridge as far as I can until I find something else on the scanner to head towards. Just kind of looping around, trying to see if there's anything on the scanner. I have the throttle bug again now. Need to reverse so that I can go forwards. Still hasn't worked. There we go. And making my way down to some flat ground. It's been a while since I've seen any of that. And another new material, number 18, and that is zirconium. Found another man-made signature, and as I approach here, I think this might have been another explorer. Obviously they screwed up fairly badly to be in this situation. It makes you wonder what happened to them. Maybe Matt Damon found them, and when he was rescued, they rescued whoever that was as well. And here we have some yttrium, or yttrium, I'm not sure how you would pronounce that. Huge man-made signature directly in front there. Look at the scanner. And we have a shipwreck. Perhaps this is the ship of the person that was in that SRV wreck that I found. But there were actually some escape pods here. Unfortunately, I did not have the cargo space to take them. So I left them there for another commander to find in the future. I love the sounds from the scanner. And there is an occupied escape pod with an unfortunate soul inside it who cannot be rescued by me. So looking at FSD injection where I currently stand, I'm getting there, I really am. So hopefully by the time of the next video we'll be able to try to head to the outer rim. Thanks, bye.